on Bargain Bead Box. It is project 2 that we are on, where we are going to make all of these solar system stack bracelets. So the reason I wanted to do that, if you watch project 1, we made a solar system bracelet using a longa cording. I think this time I will try to use Elasticity, because some of you maybe don't have a longa, you have a Elasticity from Beadalon. So we will, well, a longa is also from Beadalon, but we'll try the other. Also, because these bracelets are going to be very gemstone heavy. The other one was as well, but these ones are larger beads, more larger gemstones. So we maybe want to move into a stronger cording. So we're going to do that. I'm going to create them on the Acclaimed Craft Board, just like I did the first project. And I'm going to show you how to utilize the Acclaimed Craft Board when using different size beads and to get the same length of doings. Okay, so I have all of my beads here. I put them back in the original packaging so that I could know the size and which ones they're representing. Now, the other reason I wanted to do it this way is with the plan is because let's say that you were not into the solar system theme. This way you just have gemstone. You could utilize the meaning of the gemstones for selling purposes or for your own purposes, what have you. So they would just be like, you know, what do we have? A sodalite bracelet, a blue gold stone, you know, that type of thing. So going kind of both ways. So I am going to go ahead and jump down to the mat. I think I already got my charms ready, but I'll have to look at that. So let's get down to the mat, get this party started. Okie dokie, artichokes, here we are, party people. So, this is our plan, and we are going to make, I believe it's 9. Is it 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 9. 9 bracelets. And so we are going to add in our charms and our spacers. Now, I believe that I already got those. Out here. Maybe might just have to add some jump rings. Now, if you wanted to add like a bail, I don't know if I have a bail. Let me see. A bail? I know I have a silver one. I don't know if I got a gold. I do have a silver. I don't have a gold, so I probably will not use one. But here is what I'm talking about with the bail situation. If you wanted to use these type, you could definitely do that, and you would just hook your charm onto there, and that's going to help it to be in the bracelet, you know, hanging down. But if you don't have that, you can always just go ahead and use a jump ring, which is probably what I will do since I don't have gold. So let's get going on this. And I think what I'll do, I got stuff all over the place. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'm first going to show how I'm going to utilize my Acclaimed Craft Board. So we should be able to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these at one time. Okay. We would then have to clear it and make 2 more. So I don't know that I'll show you. I might fast forward through some of that, but I wanted to show you how to utilize it. So I am going to get my charms and spacers ready just by putting them over here to the side. And quite honestly, I'll probably just, this one has a jump ring on it, so I can use that one. And so does this one. These other 2 don't have jump rings because I don't know why, but I'll have to get some jump rings on those. Let's see what I got here. So I just need 2 gold jump rings. I think I'll just use these 4s. Actually, let me use these. sixes. I got 2 6s out here, and I'm just going to put these on here real quick before we get started. So if you know me, you know I like to have all my stuff ready to go before I start out. So I'm just putting these jump rings on real quick. Make sure they are closed up all the way. Seem to be having a closing up issue here this morning. Get in there. It's really early here, so I don't know. Sometimes early morning can be an issue. Alright, got that one on there. It's a little rough. It's a little rougher than I anticipated. But okay. Put this one on there. That one closed right up. Okay, so those are ready to rock. So now we have our chart. So if you are, maybe watched the first video, you may have already seen this, but just for the purposes of maybe you haven't seen it or what have you. So this is the virtual bead mandrel chart that comes with the Acclaimed Craft Board, and I want to make mine 7 inches. And so what I'm going to do with these first ones is I'm just going to pull a bag. So these say that they're 8 millimeter. So to make 8 millimeters, I go down here to the size of the bead. I go over to 8. I go across to 7. And it says here I'm going to use ring number 8. And I'm not going to exceed 8. Okay. So these are 8s. Do we have other 8s? These are 8s. These are 8s. 8s. Those are 10s. These are 6s. 8s. We have a lot of 8s. 8s. And these are 6s. Okay, so we got, what we'll have to do then is we'll do all these with this sizing, and then we'll have to resize for the 6s and resize for the 10s. So I'm just going to put these ones over here to the side for right now, and we will do all of these ones. Put that over there. So I'm going to start out with the aqua quartz, and this is to represent Uranus. And so I'm going to move this just a smidge. And basically, I'm just going to put these all around. And they should fit all around this ring. And I'm putting the gemstones first because what if we don't have enough to create an entire bracelet, right? This is where the spacers and the charms would come into play. Well, okay, so as you can see, we do not have enough to create this, but I have added these larger hole gold because some of them, well, not all of them, but some of them have a larger hole, which we are able to hide our knot into. So I want to, maybe I'll keep these out here. So I'm going to add that, and then to create, we're missing basically a bead. Now I dropped a bead on the floor the other day and I couldn't find it. So that's my bad, but that's fine. We will just add into this one a couple of spacers here. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, Might be able to get away with one more. All right. So that is going to be my first bracelet. Now, instead of just stringing this up right away, I'm going to show you how we can utilize this whole board to do the same situation and make the same size, even though we're working in a different circle. So we're going to move to 9, because this is 8. We're going to move to 9. So it says do not exceed 8. So you can see that this is ring number 9, but there's an 8 right here. So we will start at 9 and we'll only go to 8 using the same size beads. So we will go with Sodalite. And I'm going to start at 9. I'm just going to put these in here for now, and then I'll arrange them to show you what it means. So I originally got this board from Lori. She sent it to me. Her and her husband make these boards because I was struggling with bracelet making. And it's been really helpful. But I will say that when I first got it, there was a little bit of a learning curve because I had not seen her video on how to, oh, this one's a little broken, how to properly arrange them. I was just kind of trying to wing it, and I was a little bit, there was a little bit of a learning curve. So again, as you can see, we can't quite make it. We got about 1 inch here. So I'm going to add some of these spacers again. When I'm lining this up, I want to make sure that this bead is not overlapping the 9. It's starting just to the right of the 9, right? So I think for this one, I will add one of the one of the larger beads here at 8, and again, not overlapping the 8, just putting it real close. And I'm just going to throw some of these little spacers in here, probably 2 on each side, and then I'm going to go ahead and add this moon in the middle, and that'll be part of my design. So this is going to give us a 7 as well. We're going to move on to 10. Again, only going to the 8. I will go with the 8mm tiger skin jasper and the rings. Now, I will say that I put these rings on the other bracelet, and it is important to make sure that they are lined up with a bead that fits them before you go to put them on. So I am going to grab a eye pin just to size them out. And make sure that the ring fits with the bead that I'm going to put it on. And I'm just going to do that by lining it up on the bead. And the other thing, there we go, so that one will work. And so I'll put this one over here. I think I will put those all to one side. So to make sure that it is going to fit, so that one fits. And then I will fill in with the ones that do not have rings on them. And so I'm just kind of yeah. I'm kind of looking for some that will fit pretty well, because I can see that some of these rings are a little off kilter, and I mean the drill on the bead is a little off kilter, So that could be a problem if there's not enough room for it to move around, you know, if it's too snug on the bead, because the larger elasticity cord we're going to use might not fit through there if it doesn't line up properly. So these ones are all fitting pretty snug, if at all. And Bargain Bead Box said that would happen just because of the nature of gemstone beads being different sizes. So this one looks like it will fit. So I don't know if you guys can tell what I'm talking about, but I'll try to zoom in. Okay, so here, when I'm lining this up, this one fits pretty well. It's pretty loose, and so there's a lot of room to move around, but some of them are way off kilter, and although I can get an eye pin through there, I might not be able to get my Elonga cord through there, so I'm hoping that I can. That seems to be the last one with a ring. So now I'm going to start off at 10, again just right of the 10 and around to the 8. So although we are setting this up at the 8, it is only going to give us a 7. I keep knocking this over. It is only supposed to give us a 7 inch bracelet, and that is based on the bead size. Also, if you were making these and maybe you were going to make them with clasps, okay, that's a different situation. So you would need to put your clasp in here in order for it to be a 7. Oh, I did have one ring left, but I don't think I have a bead that it will fit. Maybe it'll fit on this one. No? I'm going to add my larger hole bead here, and we're pretty much to the 8. Might be a millimeter, like a millimeter short, but I think we should be good there. So this one will give us a size 7. Okay, we're going to move on to the 12 with, what do we got left? The lapis. Oh, so these are representative of Earth, lapis and chrysocolla. I had to turn my heater way down for me to be down here, and it's getting cold. My feet are getting cold. Might have to go up and warm up. After this video, before I move into the next one. Okay. Okay, so we're only going to the 8. And there's a little bit of space here, which is where I will add my bead for the hole. So we're only going, although we're in 12, we're only going to the 8. Put that in the bloopers, huh? There we go. Okay, so that one is done. Moving on to the next one. We can use 11. And we have carnelian. Again, these are still all the 8 millimeter beads, so that's why we are still using the same sizing. Try not to spill them all over the place. Alright, so we start up here, just right of the 11. Go around with this guy to the 8. See what we can get. Okay, we got a little bit of space before we get to the 8, but we're going to add our ending bead here, the 8. And I think this time I will, let me check this lava rocks and see if it's going to fit on here. No. Gold spacers. Okay. So I think I will put the gold spacers for these over here. This is just a design choice. I could put also a little star here, a little charm in between. And that is going to give us 8. All right, cooking with gas now. Here we go, 13. I gotta keep pushing this up so you guys can see. This is the last of the 8s. Are these snazzy crackle beads that I like so much. Ooh, come here, you. Okay. So, put these in here. Almost perfect. I think I will. That'll be a little bit bigger, and I don't quite want to do that. So I'm going to remove one of those. I'm going to put in this guy, and I'm going to put in, let's do this moon. Where are we going to put that moon? Yeah, right here's good. I'm going to put a moon and one spacer bead. See where we're at. Yep, I think that will be good. So we got one moon and a spacer bead. And then we are out of 8s. Okay, so I'm going to, we still have one circle, so I'm going to refer to the chart. Let's grab up, let's use these larger ones and see what we get. 10 millimeter. Okay, we want it to be a 7. I'm going to try to not have this hit the board. So here's our 7, and we're going to use 10 millimeter beads. So we're going to go across from the 10, and we're going to say, okay, they want us to use 9, number 9, and not to exceed 8 1/4. So if we use this guy and we do 8 1/4, which is here, we should be able to use number 14, excuse me. This way my full board will be full and I can womp them up pretty quickly. So we've got a little bit of space to go here, and oh, the heater's on. It looks like I am out of these larger hole beads. I do have this one ring left that I forgot to put on Saturn. I'm thinking I don't want to put that on there. Okay, the heater's on, so I'm going to jump off real quick, and then when I come back, I'm going to find some more gold for us to work with, and we will go ahead and start stringing them up, okay? Alright guys, the heater shut off. I warmed it up a little bit in here, so we're doing pretty good. I got to finish up doing this little guy here. So I did get a couple of spacers out, and they're not going to be like the most perfect of situations, but it is what it is. And I'm going to put my little star in here. I think I might have to put a couple of spacers in between, like that. And then we will be to, these are laying sideways, but we will be to just about where we need to be for this bracelet. 8 1/4 inch. These are laying flat right now because I can't get them to stand up, so once they're not laying flat, that should be 8 1/4 inches. Okay, so here we are with all of our designed bracelets. And I am going to show you how I'm going to put this first one together, but then the rest of the situation is going to be pretty repetitive. So I do have to clear this board before I can move into the last one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the last one is 6 millimeter. And this will be 8. Now I do have this blue goldstone, which I could also do. I might do that. I don't know at this point right now. To give us 9. But if we had 8, we could wear 4 on each wrist, which could be nice. Or you could do them individually. So I don't know that I'll do the blue stone. But anyway, so what I am going to do here is, let me just check to see if 7 inches with a 6-inch bead is in the number 8 spot. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do one down here to show you how I'm going to string it, because I don't want to knock anything over. So I'm going to use stretch cording, Beadalon Elasticity for this one. Now in the other one we used Elonga cording. So I am going to use this guy. This guy is 1 meter thickness. And with this elasticity, I'm going to give it a cut. And I am going to pre-stretch. Okay. So I am going to pre-stretch this. Cording. And then I'm going to use this little clip for the end, just so nothing falls off the end. And I'm just going to do this one right here since it's basically closest to me. And I'm going to start and just work backwards. I'm just going to put these on there. Easy peasy. Now with this one, I'm just stringing them on. I'm not utilizing any needles or anything like that. I'm not doubling up on cord like we did during the first one. I'm just literally stringing them on here. That's Winter. She's very upset that she cannot be in the basement during the bead doings. So she's crying. She's fine. She's just upstairs and she does not like that. So if you hear kitty cat commotion, that's just kitty cat commotion. Don't worry about that. She's just doing kitty cat commotion today. Also, if you watch project number 1, you know that my hypo cement is auto whackety whack, because I don't know why. So I might have to dig out a new bottle. I'll probably just tie these and not glue them right away until I can find my new bottle of hypo cement, because I don't know what happened to mine. Maybe it got cold. It's a thing that happens. So it's broke, is the moral of that story. But I'm pretty sure I have another one rolling around here somewhere. It might even be upstairs. So I'll probably just tie my bracelets and then just glue them at the end. The last one. Okay. So I'm going to stop this and move it, and then so we can just be on the mat. Alrighty, so now we're going to tie the knot. So the knot we're going to tie is this one right here on the back of the bead along cording that we're using. And so we're just going to do an overhand knot and then go around again, basically a surgeon's knot. And we are going to do that right here. So when I do this, what I do is I bring it around. And here's the thing. You want your bracelet to be tight, but you don't want it to be so tight that it can't stretch, because that is the purpose. You kind of have to find the sweet spot as to where this knot is going to go. So what I do is I don't pull it super tight, but tight enough where I know I'm going to be able to, you know, get my bracelet together. So I'm going to go 1, 2, wrap that around twice. Now this is important. An important part of the knot is that, as you can see, it's pretty tight on my finger. When I roll it down, pull it down into place, it needs to be tight enough where there's no slack showing in between the beads. So when I roll it down, I just kind of take my finger out and then I just kind of pull and push this into place and get my finger out of there like so. So it's kind of best if you can do it in like a one motion kind of situation. So then I'm going to pull this way and I'm going to, in a sense, lock that knot into place. So now it's good to go. So now what I would do is I would hit this with a little bit of the hypo cement, but as you've seen, my hypo cement is auto whack. So I am just going to give it a trim. Now I do leave it a little bit of a tail, not too much, but enough of a tail, maybe a couple millimeters. Because I'm going to glue this and then I'm going to slide this knot into this bead. This is the reason we put that bead on there. And once I've done that, this is my finished product. So this is what it looks like. And I think it's very cute. Once I get the whole stack on there, you know, and this is going to loosen up a little bit, and also, you know, as it wears, not too much, but a little bit, because the beads are heavy. But yeah, so this is exactly what we want. If this was glued into place, this would not move from there. So there we go. And we can get a little stack of these guys. So I'm going to continue to do this same exact process with all of the bracelets that we've already designed, and then I will show them to you. And then we will do our last bracelet, or two, I guess, of the 6mm. So we're going to have to look back at our paperwork and see which one we want to use for that. So there you go. Let me go ahead and do the others. I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so I got all these ones tied off. Looking pretty smashing. I'll show you more in depth at the end, but yeah, so we're looking like a We're looking like a stack here. Quite good. These ones as well. So we're these are all the 8mm. So now we're going to jump into, we have 2 left to do with the 6mm beads. We want them to be 7 inches at 6mm beads. So we are going to use ring number 8, and we are not going to go past 7 3/4. So ring number 8, where are you at? Here you are, kind of to the side right here. So I'm going to try to maneuver this a little better. There we go. And we got just the 2 left, so we are using 6mm larvikite. For the first one. And what did I say? 7 3/4. So that's right here. And we're gonna put those guys in there. And then my little ending bead. I think I'll use 2 on this one. So there's our first one. And then our second one is the 6mm blue goldstone. And I will use this one here, number 9, but only going to 7 3/4. And so this is kind of the cool thing about this board in particular, especially if you're making stretch bracelets. It makes it super easy to line up your whole board. When I went to make those other ones, it was super easy just to string them up. And get them to all be about the same size, which is great, especially if you're selling. So we already did use some of these blue on the first bracelet that we made. Oh, come here. This one is a little wonky, so I'm going to take him out of there. Oh, we're supposed to go to what? 7 3/4? Take that one off. And then we'll use one of these guys. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to string these up, and our complete set of all of these bracelets will be done once I get them strung up. So I will be right back, and then I will show you them all and our design and everything. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, we are done. Don't even know how many we made. Here's our 6mm ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 9 here, which was the plan. So here's our 6mm guys that we just designed. Okay, so you can see that I haven't glued them yet, but I did just put them inside the bead. So I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to show you the stack, or at the very least I will show you what they look like, so you can see the kind of the details when they're all together. So here's the design that we made versus the items that we made. So there they are. So these ones just have a spacer bead at the end, so nothing really to write home about. But since they are the genuine gemstone, you know, they could be sold individually or used individually versus doing the stack. So this one is the Saturn one with the little rings on it. Super cute. Right, and they kind of all have little gold business on them. This is the Sodalite. This one has a little moon. In the front. This is the first one that we did. I probably wouldn't wear these two suns right next to each other, or these two moons, but hey, here we go. We have this guy, and Earth, and this one, which is, what is this one? Can't remember right off the top of my head. Mercury, probably. So there's our little stack, and so these all, obviously they all end up being about the same size, which is good. Now you could go this way, right? If you wanted to be, you know, like extravagant like I do, just be doing the most. You could do a couple on each side. Here, let's throw in our actual project one as well, just for funsies, right? Just for funsies. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. So it doesn't really matter where we put this guy. But that is what they're looking like. I really like these. I really do like stretch bracelets. I feel like stretch bracelets are making their little comeback. I've seen them all over the internet recently. The only thing that personally for me about stretch bracelets is eventually a stretch bracelet will break. It's just the wear and tear of the cording, you know, especially if someone is really, you know, yanking on it, or they leave it outside in the cold, or, you know, whatever happens. There is a possibility that eventually it will break, and that's never great, right? But I don't know. I mean, I think they're super cute. I think if you take care of them, you should be able to, at the very least, wear them a while. So I think they're cute. So there we go. So we have our solar system one, and then all the individual planets, right? And I really like how they turned out. It took me, well, had I not been recording and stuff, it really wouldn't have taken me that long. Since I was recording, it did take a little while, but for the most part, not really to make the individual item. It was more of like putting them on the board and make sure they're going to be the right size and everything. But we did have a lot of 8mm beads, so we were able to make those, you know, all pretty much the same. But the thing that I do like about the Acclaimed Crafts board, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Lori and her husband from Acclaimed Crafts. Just so you know, recently I watched one of their videos, and they said that they were having, they basically, someone took their design and used it without permission, and they're creating the boards that we were just using. counterfeit boards. So if you see one of those very familiar designs, you know, from Acclaimed Crafts on a different website, please just know that they do make those handmade and they package them, and I know they've put a lot of work into them, and the counterfeit ones are not as large, they're not as made as well. They did a compare and contrast video, which I can link down in the comments as well. And it's just sad, you know, when we see that happening to handmade makers or small businesses, and they're getting, you know, super large companies are stealing their designs. You know, it's like, come on, man. Let the little guy have something. But so FYI, if you were considering getting one of these boards from Acclaimed Crafts, I would highly recommend, because we were able to utilize the chart and then fill in the beads that we needed in order for them all to become the same size. And that is one of the things that I really like about it, especially since I can struggle with making sized bracelets, as you guys know. So I really do appreciate that Lori and her husband sent over that board for me as a gift, and I do use it all the time. So I just wanted to let you guys know. I can link their Etsy shop down in the description below, but also shout out to Bargain Bead Box for putting together a very interesting box this month. I am excited to move on to the next project, which is project number 3. I do enjoy my stretch bracelets. I gotta say, I quite enjoy them. So I hope you all having a lovely, spectacular, amazing beading day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.